If you aren't using your Prime Gaming, what the fuck are you doing, folks? That was just too convincing for anyone to not drop that Bezos bucks. Anyways, now we're gonna bring out our fantastic guest. He's a caster. He's a fucking competitor too, honestly, and a very cool guy that I got to work with. Give it up, everybody, for DakCity!
Yeah, thanks for the intro, man. Good to be here. Good to be here on the couch.
On the couch, yes. It's not exactly the casting couch. It's the conversational couch.
Yeah, and love seat over here.
Of course, yeah.
So
You know, when I have a sidekick, get someone in there, make your window a little bit smaller. Even though I think you want to be you're the main focus right now. You know, you're here. Yeah. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. It's good to chat with you again after we ran that Valor LAN a couple weeks ago.
Of course, and folks, if you're unaware, myself and DakCity, along with fellow caster Polly Hype, we ran the damn show over at the Battle for New York City in Brooklyn. First Valorant LAN in New York, probably. I don't know if there's been secret ones that were happening illegally that we don't know. There was a tiny asterisk at the end of the title. legally first LAN.
I think we can safely say it was the first one. Yeah.
No one's gonna. Yeah. Okay. You're right. First one. Anybody who wants to step to that, fuck off.
By the way, man, your intro is great. I love that was you said, oh, I got a little anime intro. I was like, okay, you went all out.
Yeah, man. That took me, I want to say, like, combined probably 8 hours.
Okay, not that bad.
To do
it
that.
Took you a day.
Me a day. Well, this was spread. Okay, well, no, maybe it was 12 hours. So maybe it was 12. Just long enough.
Well, that's great.
And isn't it crazy? I've never actually watched that anime.
You've never watched it?
I've never watched that anime.
Wow. Well, I guess that's fair because it's kind of a meme, so I guess you can get away with it. But you should watch it. It's a great show.
I've heard, because I remember I watched the latter half of the movie, and I was hungover when I did that. I woke up and my roommate was watching it, and I just felt like garbage, and I saw what he was watching. I was like, dude, what the fuck is this? And then it was during like this final weird sequence of real life footage. Oh my god, it doesn't make any sense.
That's definitely not a movie or series you can kind of just like jump in halfway, because you'll be completely lost.
Yeah, well, I mean, who cares? Maybe I'll see it one day, maybe I won't, but whatever. To kick off the show, we always gotta ask this question of the folks who come through. It's, your name is DakCity. How did you get your gamer tag name?
Okay, so I recently changed my tag, actually. My tag hasn't been DakCity for very long. I think I changed it to DakCity only like a year ago. My tag was Rapture for the longest time. So, like, I guess my first tag was CCM30, like way back, like pre-2010. Back when I was like on like the Nintendo Insider forums. If anyone was on Insider, by the way, let me know, because I was CCM30 on there. And then eventually I jumped around to other different tags, and I ended up joining this gaming organization called VVV Gaming. I might have mentioned that to you when we talked when we first met, but they're kind of still around. But they were like a big like Gears of War kind of, like they sent teams to MLG for like Gears of War and Call of Duty and stuff like that. They got into Smash and whatnot. When I was in that organization, the guy was running it was like, you should stick with the tag. It's good for branding, and like, people will be able to follow who you are instead of changing your tag like every 3 months, which is what everyone did at the time. So I eventually stuck with Rapture because I was playing BioShock, and I was like, whatever, I just picked that. And I never really had any kind of like true like infatuation with it. I kind of just stuck with it because like, well, that's my tag now, screw it, who cares. And then eventually when I was in the I'm jumping around crazy right now, I hope you don't mind.
Go right ahead. We'll come back, break something down.
Yeah, but when I was eventually at the 2014 Smash Wii U Invitational at E3 that Nintendo ran, they started calling me The Rapture because that was my Twitter handle, because Rapture was taken, even though my tag was just Rapture. So they started calling me The Rapture, so I was like, well, I guess my tag is The Rapture now. And then last year I was like, I hate people calling me Rapture. Like I'm 27 years old. People just call me Dak anyway, so I just changed it to Dak and DakCity about a year ago, and I'm like, whatever, that's what it's gonna be, probably for the rest of my life, I would assume. But yeah, that's how I got here, I guess.
Why'd you
Tag-wise.
become DakCity?
You know, like the song Rack City.
Is that what it was? I was thinking about that.
So, you know, that would just be a thing, and calling Dak, and we would say DakCity sometimes, and you know, it's kind of, it flows.
It does work well. You know, I was
Yeah.
thinking it was under the same vein as like this was your your battle cry when you won something. You're like, you know where the fuck we are? This is DakCity, baby.
Yeah, no, it's like, you know, Rack City or like Suplex City, you know, Brock Lesnar's thing. No, yeah, just kind of like the song or whatever, but it was just something that flowed with Dak, I guess, and just something I stuck with.
I'm now trying to think, like, having people call you something you don't want to be called, like the Rapture. When
Yeah, it was just weird. Like, you know, I'd go to Smash tournaments, and you know, I'd have people who have known me for a while or know me, you know, as a person, like as friends. They just call me Dak or whatever, Dakota. And then other people call up to me like, "What's up, Rapture?" And I'm like, don't call me my gamer tag in public.
you're not cool with that?
No, it's not like I wasn't cool with it. If I had a cooler tag, you know, like if my tag was something else, it would be fine. But it was like you know, it's just a word that I have no attachment to. So I was like, I got to change this eventually. I actually had it for longer than I thought I would. And I think at one point I tried to change it. And there were other times I changed it too, but I ended up going back to Rapture. But then this time it stuck. And I see in your chat, by the way, I don't know if I'm allowed to read it.
No, yeah, go right ahead.
Okay. Brock Lesnar returned at SummerSlam. He did. I did watch it. CM Punk also returned at AEW. And Becky Lynch also returned, so that was very hype. I can definitely talk. I know we're here to talk gaming, probably too. But
We
I
can
also
talk about
all night
whatever, man.
Wrestling, bro. So
Gaming is just how I know you.
yeah, no, yeah, but yeah, no, I've only been Dak. Well, I mean, I've been Dak for my whole life, but I've DakCity, I guess, since last summer.
Well, I mean,
guess.
now that you're bringing up wrestling, I also have an attachment to a name when it comes to wrestling. So back in the day, my cousins and my brothers were into backyard wrestling, and
Awesome.
they had a trampoline at my cousin's place, so we would just do, like, we would mess around doing moves. And I'm way younger than like my oldest brother, so I was just basically used as a mannequin, and they just fucking threw me around. But my name as a wrestler was Chain, and I don't know why. Chain, yeah.
There we go. I love that. That's a great gimmick.
And my finishing move was the chain chomp.
The chain chomp.
It was just a leg drop. It was just a leg drop, and it doesn't make any sense in terms of the name.
That's funny you mentioned that, because my first tag I mentioned, CCM30, stood for Chain Chomp Master 30. Because when I played Mario Kart Double Dash, I would always use one of the babies who had the Chain Chomp Super. And so I came up with that. It was also the abbreviation of the hockey equipment I would use. So it worked out.
Did you ever mess around with backyard wrestling?
I did. Not like to a super crazy extent, but we did like what you did, like on trampolines and whatnot, and giving each other moves and all that crazy stuff. But nothing too insane, because I have a couple of friends who went a little farther, and they did, like, you know, backyard wrestling, like real backyard wrestling, like legitimately wrestling in someone's backyard with tables and whatnot. And I never went that far. But you know, as friends, yeah, we just wrestled on the trampoline, gave each other rock bottoms and whatnot until, you know, we got tired.
Did you have a name for wrestling if you ever thought you were gonna do it?
So recently I've always thought about like what my, not recently always, but recently I've thought more about what my wrestler name would be. And back before the pandemic started, I got a call one day at my office. It was some like telemarketer, and my last name is Lasky. But when they called me, like, is this Dakota Lasky? And I was like, no.
How do you mess that up?
Yeah, but when they said that, I was like, well, Sky, that kind of works. So I thought it'd be like Dak Sky. And then I'm also, I was born in May, so I'm a Gemini. So like the Gemini, Dak Sky, kind of rhymes.
Oh shit.
And I would kind of be like I would be kind of a funny dude outside the ring, but then in the ring I got serious. You know, like Kurt Angle's for original WWE gimmick. So like that. All right. So obviously I've thought about this a little bit, but yeah, that's what I would do.
That is actually a sick Dacless guy. The Gemini Dacless guy. That's
What I'm
fucking dope.
saying. Like
That is
rolls off
dope.
the tongue. And when they said that, I was like, no, that's not how you say it. But I might start rolling with that.
Next time you talk to your parents, you're like, Mom, Dad, this is my name now. You have to accept me.
Yeah. Definitely.
Oh man, so you started off as a competitor, right?
Yeah, so I mean, my very first tournament I want to say was, if this counts, like the Pokemon Journey Across America tournament that happened in Roosevelt Field Mall in 2006. I think was my very first tournament I ever went to, and I remember I lost because my Lugia was paralyzed and like didn't attack for 3 turns, and I got timed out by this dude in like the third round. And then after that, I would go to, I don't know if you've been to like Nintendo World Store. They call it Nintendo New York now.
In Manhattan?
It used to be called, yeah, it used to be called Nintendo World Store back in the day. My dad would take me to like the monthly tournaments they had, which I think it was like the Battle at the Plaza, they used to call it. And they would have like a tournament for like, you know, a Mario Kart game or like Mario Strikers or Pokemon or Smash, something like that. And I would go to that every week or every month. And that's how I started going to tournaments more. I started doing game battles and like MLG stuff too. You know, everyone kind of did that.
In what game? Would they have game battles for
They had
games
game
like
battles
Mario
for
Kart
everything,
and
man.
Smash?
There was game battles ladder, I think, for like literally any game that was out. Like I remember I played Mario Kart DS, Metroid Prime Hunters, Call of Duty 4, Gears of War,
dude,
Gears of War 2.
I fucked around with some Metroid Prime Hunters.
Metroid Prime Hunters. I mean, I do a Metroid podcast as I've told you, but also I could talk all day about specifically Metroid Prime Hunters. I love that game. One of my favorite games of all time.
Who was in
yeah.
that game? Who was your main? I was a big Psylux fan because he looked cool.
Oh, yeah. I used Trace a lot and Weevil. So Trace was the red dude that like the alien. Well, they're all aliens, I guess. But like the insect like alien with the sniper. He was really good because we had his affinity weapon, the sniper. You turn invisible. So it was really really handy.
I remember there was one map where you could use him to glitch outside of it and then shoot people from, you know, within like the walls. And people would use that on me. I was like, you son of a bitch. And then I started doing that. I'm like, haha, get fucked. Now I'm the son of a bitch.
Yeah, that was a great game. Yeah, I played that a lot. I was in like a couple clans for that, for like Mario Kart. I remember doing like Call of Duty 4 tryouts and scrimmages and whatnot, and Gears of War and all that. And then when I was in that organization, I mentioned VV Gaming.
VV Gaming.
Yeah. So at that time I kind of knew that there were Smash tournaments, but I only really knew about like MLG, like Melee, you know, like I didn't know that there were like local tournaments and other things. I thought it was just like the big ones. And when I was in VVV, I was a Gears of War player at the time, and a friend of mine, David, who passed away a few years ago, his tag was Allied. He was a pro Smite player at one point. So, awesome dude. And he got me into Smash. He was like, dude, you play Smash, like you're near the area nearby, like you should go to a tournament, I'll meet you there. And that was my first Brawl tournament, my first tournament I ever really went to for like real competitive, like grassroots stuff, not like something ran by like, you know, a launch tournament or like, you know, some kind of bigger tournament ran by like just kind of a special event or like something in the Nintendo world, like a real grassroots event. First one I ever went to was called Fuck Yeah Sea King, and it was ran by my man Will Walsh, who's now called DK Will. He's a big Donkey Kong player at Smash, great friend of mine, and very close friend of mine. And he ran that tournament out of like a mini golf go-kart place out in Long Island, and my man Allied met me there, and that was my very first like grassroots Smash tournament, April 10th, 2010. And after that, I just started going to a lot more tournaments in person and going to a lot more Smash events, and played a lot of Brawl, played a lot of, you know, Smash 4. Then I got into StarCraft. I kept playing, you know, Gears and Halo here and there, but I really stuck to like Smash. for the longest time until I, went from StarCraft and then eventually Overwatch and so on and so forth. But yeah, that was how I got my beginning there, was through like game battles and stuff like that, and then going to local tournaments after joining that organization and all those clans and whatnot.
Were you winning a lot, or was it more of a social aspect?
No, I was not winning. No, I never like really truly went super hard at like trying to become the best or really skilled. I think, in high school I couldn't play games too much. Like I didn't have the opportunity just to grind 6-8 hours a day. And then in college I didn't like really want to, because I wanted to like go out and get fucked up. So so I didn't do that either. And then after college, I was working and I kind of grinded Overwatch for a bit, and I grinded Smash again. Still part of me wants to like actually get good at something and really compete hard, but that's why I got into commentaries, because I would play, in a Smash tournament, and I would go like 0-2 or 1-2 or 2-2 and lose, and the tournament's still going, and I'd jump on the mic, and that's how I started doing commentary, to try to fill up my time after I'd lose in the tournament.
Well, I guess that answers my question of how did you get first involved in commentary. I think that's what it is. It's people who aren't good enough to win go to commentary unless they're retired.
Yeah, I mean, I think not anybody, but I think really if someone really puts their mind to it, like I'm kind of a lazy and indecisive person, so maybe I'm just not mentally built for it, but I think anybody could really become good at something. It's just they gotta really want it, and not just like the idea. Like I like the idea of being a pro gamer or like really good at something, but you have to also like the process too. And it's certainly harder to grind that and become the best, and it's competitive. So yeah, sometimes people find other options, which is totally cool too. But I mean, I know commentators who are really good players as well. Like a close friend of mine, Max, who's actually at Smash Summit right now casting that for Smash Ultimate. He's not just a commentator, he always says he's a really good player as well. So I just never really went hard. But then again, maybe if I did, I wouldn't have mattered. I still would never have made it. Who knows? Commentary is definitely easier and fun. So.
I think so, because you're not working against anybody. We're here to
that's
make
not true. Depending on who you ask.
Really?
No, I'm kidding.
I think in terms of like trying to find gigs, it is the most cutthroat shit of all time. Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, you're working against yourself though too as a commentator. Every time you cast, you want to do better than the next time, and your competition isn't another person, but it's yourself. So it's a different kind of competition. It also takes a similar grind and aspiration and discipline to do better and be a better commentator, and kind of the same way as a player would too. It's just less taxing on my hands. And I personally find it easier to just talk, because I could talk forever. So I guess that's how I ended up doing this stuff.
Yeah, I think so too. I like well, I use my hands when I talk. When I was casting, I was like this the whole time, even though you couldn't see me. I think that makes it, I don't know.
Yeah, you gotta get into it. Show... I definitely was moving in a little bit. I wasn't too. We were in a smaller booth there, so I wasn't trying to wingspan it out there and hit anybody. We didn't have a lot of room to work with there. But no, you definitely got to get animated for sure.
Well, going back to becoming pro and going pro, what is one game that you would want to be at the top of the scene in?
I don't know. Some of these games pay a lot of money to be the best. So, I might be like, damn, I might be a league pro, because I see those prize pools. But no, I guess probably the game I don't know, it'd either be Smash or Halo. Just, Halo, because I love Halo and I love team games, and winning as a team is awesome, and I would love to be on a championship winning team. Obviously, very few people get to do that, and it's also a feeling that I truly couldn't describe for sure. But at the same time, I would love to be a top Smash player, just because I've been in the scene for so long. A lot of my friends are top players too, and it would be cool to be alongside a lot of my peers in terms of skill and placements. So I wish I had the. I guess I don't have enough of that in me to really push for, but I wish I did. Maybe I'll find it in the next year or so, I hope, before I turn Too old.
Well, when it comes to Halo, you've been around for the other games more than all the Zoomers who are at the top of esports. You could do it. This could be your game.
Well, I've never, like I said, I've never been, even like outside of top tournament play, ever been like a truly amazing player. I've always been, I don't know, I've always felt like I've been someone who, like in Smash, for example, I could beat like my friends easily and stomp them. But then if I play people who actually compete in Smash, you know, I I don't like hold on, I don't hold a candle to some of them, Um, yeah, I guess it's something that it's hard to really put your mind to. It's a lot, and even then, even if you play really well, you might not make it very far. But I would also say that it is more. I think it would be crazier as someone who like works a full-time job and is older to like pull someone off like winning a championship or being a really solid player than someone who's like younger and like doesn't have any responsibilities and can like grind 10 12 hours a day because they're like 14. And if so, I want seeing the boomers win. Like I see like Hiko winning in Valor or something like that. I'm like, yes, this guy's like 32. This guy's got bills to pay and he's still playing. So I respect that.
Yeah, man.
Maybe that'll be me.
There is. I can't believe I'm being affected by it now, but when I see kids turn 20, like pro players turn 20, and they're like, oh, I'm so old now.
Yeah.
I was like, no, you little fucking shit. Listen here. You're a baby.
Don't know any better.
You're doing nothing, okay? If you're going to college is easy as fuck. I don't want to hear it. Probably studying like, I don't know, English. Come on. Come on. You're fine. You're a baby. I don't want to hear it. Oh man. I mean, I'm just imagining now calling in off work like, hey, sorry guys, I gotta go to Berlin to play Valorant. I'll be back in like 2 weeks.
I mean, at that point, if you're going to Berlin, you're probably not calling in anybody to call out of work. You're
that's
probably
true.
not working that. I know. Speaking of which, a good friend of mine, Trevor, who is at Atomisk and is currently at the Smash Summit Invitational I just mentioned, which is happening right now. He had to call out. He was like, "Hey, I'm not going to be at work this week, like I'm going to California to play in this tournament for Smash for whatever." And his job was like, "Yeah, well, you're still gonna get written up, but have a good time."
Hey man, fuck it. If that's all that's gonna happen, you're gonna get written up. I'll do it.
Yeah, take the L.
That's no problem for me. So, what would you say is your favorite game to cast? My imagination is based off what you're telling me. It's got to be Smash.
No.
No.
No, it's not. Actually, I don't know. It's a hard. I mean, right now my favorite's probably Valorant. It changes over time. I think people's like Smash was always a game I'm gonna love to cast, but that's because it's Smash. It's like riding a bike. I have friends in the scene. I'll always go back to Smash and whatnot. And I love casting high level Smash for sure. But currently, I'm really enjoying casting Valorant. So that would probably be my current favorite, and then maybe my ultimate all-time favorite is Smash, because I've been casting for so long and been able to cast so many awesome sets. Valorant, though, has been really hype. I really love casting team games. A lot of new talent. It's a new game still, and that's just fresh and new to me. So that's currently my favorite.
How'd you get into it?
Into Valorant?
Yeah.
Into the game itself, I thankfully got into the beta like a day after it started.
Oh my god, dude! I'm waiting so long to get in there.
Yeah, no, well, that was the thing, dude. Like most betas, it takes. I wouldn't say most betas. I'm kind of like sometimes I'll get in early, sometimes not. I remember Overwatch. I never got into the beta, which really was disappointing to me because I was really looking forward to that game. And I should have taken that as an omen of how things would go, but I didn't at the time. And original Overwatch was pretty fun. But then like with Valorant, I got in 2 days. Yeah, no, on the second day, so a day after. And though I did make a lot of accounts, I got it on my main account, but I made like 20 other accounts on Twitch to try to get a beta key. And I think I got a beta key on 1 or 2 of the other accounts, but by then I had already been playing on my main. And Yeah, I went really hard on Valorant the first like 2 months. I got sick over that summer and I stopped playing for a month, and that kind of took me out of it. When I came back, I didn't have it in me to grind the game again, which kind of sucked. But I had created this big like Discord server with a bunch of us to like run in-houses and ranked games and whatnot together. So like we kind of banded together and had a Discord server to play games with each other as the early parts of the quarantine and pandemic were happening. And I didn't really get involved in Valorant casting in the early stages at all. I knew that there was going to be a ton of competition and everybody was going to want to get into it. And I didn't really want to force it because I don't know. I didn't really want to play like that game at the time. I kind of just wanted to enjoy it. I didn't really want to like try to force myself into getting Valorant gigs. I figured it would come around eventually, and it kind of did. I ended up doing a smaller like summer tournament, and before I ended up doing the CSL collegiate stuff starting in October, and that ran till May. So that was a pretty long running gig. But yeah, I kind of just didn't force it. I wasn't trying to like, I don't know, sweat it and stress out about trying to get one of the few opportunities that like hundreds of people were trying to get and were already in the stages of getting as it started. So I kind of just let it happen, and I eventually got into casting a few months later for the game.
What were the first gigs that you were getting? How did it naturally come to you?
I mean, literally, like I've only done a few Valorant gigs. Like there was this one. So the first Valorant gig I did was the House Rivalries Valor Ramen Cup, which is like a smaller grassroots organizer that I knew the person who runs it through casting Overwatch contenders. And so I did that commentary. I think that was July, August-y of last year. And that was pretty much just like a lot of like us Overwatch contenders, like people, and Overwatch like open division trials people kind of coming together and casting some Valorant. So I don't know if you know like Bemi, obviously you know Door. There are a few, there are a couple of those kinds of names. I think I'm not sure if Kenobi was there at the time, but like I think LaFon was, and there's a couple of us like jumping. Oh, Plausible. I worked with him. So like just a bunch of us like Overwatch people doing Valorant, and then after that, I used my VODs from that to get the CSL gig that I did from October to May, and then after that, I did I think one. Maybe I did one small Valorant event, and then I just did the Valorant LAN. So, I mean, I have not done many Valorant gigs at all. It's just that one CSL collegiate one ran from October to May on a weekly basis pretty much. So I was busy doing that for a while.
That's pretty dope. I think it's awesome to see all of the different, I guess educational leagues. Not educational, no. I guess maybe you're learning the game by playing, but
learning new curse words.
Yeah, learning how to how to use all chat. But I guess like high school leagues, collegiate leagues, scholarly leagues. I don't know what the word would be, but all this stuff coming up and giving kids the opportunity to play, like the fact that there's an entire high school esports, system. Players can play
that stuff, man. Yeah, I wish that stuff existed back when I was in school. I think my college barely let us have like a classroom to run Brawl tournaments, and then let us use like one of the building lounges to run like a finals event. And they were like, I think it was ran out of the anime club because we weren't even allowed to have an esports club. So I picked the right school there. I love that kind of stuff. At the end of the day, a lot of these kids and students and whatnot they're gonna be gaming anyway, and they have that passion, and they're obviously also trying to get their education as well. So I figure it's best for both parties for like the school to be supportive and work and have these organizations doing these big programs, because they're going to be playing games anyway. They're excelling at that. They're passionate about that, and I think supporting them there not only is great for them in that part of their life, but also is a positive influence on the rest of their life too. And if you have good support in one area, it motivates you and makes you feel better to maybe excel in other areas too, like your schooling. So I love to see that, and I love working collegiate events too, because you get the schools are hype, all the schools come together in the Twitch chat, and you have that kind of camaraderie of the teams being together by virtue of going to the same school, but even against each other as rivals, being in the same regions and whatnot. It's really awesome. And I've also been a fan of collegiate sports too growing up, so I watch college hockey all the time, so I love that kind of stuff.
Were there ever any moments where you were seeing the kids play and you're like, oh shit, these dudes are amazing. One of these guys has to get signed.
Oh yeah, I mean, all the time you see for across many games you see kids like that. I mean, I saw it in Smash. You see people like who are so like young and they're like, oh, they're a prodigy. They're already going to be really good in the next couple of years. And you see that in Valorant too. The top schools have players that are already playing on like tier 2 teams. You know, give them a year, give them another year, they'll be on the top rosters as well.
Stoked to see, man. I want to see the youngins play. I mean,
Yeah,
to be
I love
honest,
seeing that too.
we did see him at the LAN. One of the guys on the winning team was 16. That's
Dude,
crazy.
He was 16 and he looked like he was 29. He was towering over me. I was like, damn, bro. This guy is like fully built out. I don't think I hit puberty till I was like 18. This guy hit puberty when he was in like middle school. I'm very jealous, but I love seeing stuff like that because obviously they're enjoying it in some of the best years of their life, and they get to do it while they have a lot of good time on their hands. Their parents were there, their friends were there. It was awesome being back in a crowd. It was also awesome seeing those like younger kids get a taste of the action, get a taste of competition, and get the dubs. It's awesome to see. It's really cool.
You've worked LANs before the pandemic. You've gotten a LAN in after the pandemic. What was the transition like going from LAN to online?
Not too bad because I was already doing Overwatch Contenders China for a while, which was online. So I've been doing that for a couple of years. I'd done it for 2 years or so before the pandemic had happened. And I'd done some online Smash stuff there too. So it wasn't too bad. Thankfully, I had that experience from Contenders to kind of, put me already in a good position, kind of set me up for success already, casting from home. But I really don't think it's too bad. It's kind of getting set up like you would for a Twitch stream or something. I've done podcasts before. I've been on camera before. I love being in the comfort of my own apartment. And one thing that's nice is that you're in control of the production scenario, right? Like you show up at an event, you have no idea what's going on, and all kinds of things could happen when you're in person at an external event. But when you're in your own place, more often than not, you have, unless the power goes out or something, or your cat knocks over your house plants, like what happened to me after one of my Valorant casts during CSL, which is pretty funny. Just ran by me. I think the cat was locked in the room, and I didn't know during like the whole cast. He really needed to get out, and like he was up on my like dresser and just knocking everything over, and like everything fell. Thankfully, it happened right as we were signing off, but like glass shattering, plants falling, and whatnot. But other than that, you have control of your scenario. You have the comfort of your own place. So I don't think it's really it wasn't a bad transition for me. I was very comfortable doing it, and I think a lot of people were. It was just more so like a had to and a necessity that everyone kind of accepted. And for people who had already maybe streamed before or done that kind of work before, it wasn't too bad.
If you don't have control in an external situation, what's kind of like the wackiest or worst thing that's happened at a LAN when you weren't in control of production?
Oh man, dude, there are a lot of horror stories. Some of which I don't even know if I would share publicly, but yeah, I mean there have been times. I mean, I remember the one Apex tournament I went to. This was what, Apex 2013 or 2014. I should know and remember. It was a pretty sizable event that happened in the Smash community because the venue that they got for that tournament, it was in a hotel. Back then, a lot. I mean, this still happens sometimes now, but nowadays. But like back then, almost every tournament that you'd go to for like fighting games was at a hotel, and they would like rent out like also the conference rooms and have the events there, and they'd be like attached. And this tournament happened during like a huge, or right after, and even kind of during like a really like heavy winter snow-wise in like the Northeast, especially in New York, New Jersey. and the area where like the parking garage and then under that like the conference like event space for the hotel, that area, the roof caved in on the parking garage like the week or so or two before the event. I'm trying to remember this all correctly. It's been like 6, 7, 8 years now. I think 7 or 8 years since it's happened. But they tried to have the event anyway because the people at the hotel were like, yeah, like it's okay, like it's fine. We'll just like kind of section it off. And then like the event was happening and like the fire marshal, I think, or whoever like saw it or like this cannot happen. This like place is not structurally sound. And I remember that event was sponsored by like Twitch. It was sponsored by Nintendo. It was sponsored by a couple things.
Wait, an actual
And
Nintendo sponsored tournament?
oh, Nintendo sponsors Smash events often.
Really?
Even since back then, yeah, yeah. But like, it's a sponsorship. They make a little arrangement. They put their name on the stream. It doesn't mean anything. It's an exchange of goods essentially. It's not really them supporting or anything in a grand way. But anyway, so that event happened. I remember day one happened, and like day one had like got shut down kind of because of how full it was and how like not great the building was. And for day two, they had to shift the entire tournament, I think, to the Meadowlands Stadium near like 30 miles away or something, or 30 minutes away, and like they had to ship all the equipment over. Like they had Splatoon demos there too. They had to move all. I think they not even brought that stuff. They just left it for day one. And like Twitch helped them to like get a whole new like arena and stadium, or not like like bigger building essentially to move that event to, because it was such a shit show. And like people had to shuttle all the way over there from the hotel. They had to move everything over. Twitch like threw them a bunch of money to make it happen. It was a mess. Great tournament though, a lot of fun.
I mean, it sounds like you really have to work hard and make all that shit worth it by having a good tournament after that happening. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean those were the early modern esportsy days, and we were still very, very grassroots back then. And I think a lot of that stuff, even today, a lot of events they may not go the way they were planned to, and even maybe just a competitor might not go the way you plan it to. But you make the most of it. Everyone's kind of in it together, especially on the production or event like TO side of things. You make it through, the event gets done, hopefully, and everyone gets home happy and paid.
Okay. Well, how about on the flip side? What was the best event you ever went to?
Oof, man, I've been to so many good events. That's a hard one. Best event. I mean, I'm not gonna count like E3s or anything like that because those aren't like esports events or anything, and that's E3. Genesis 3 was a really awesome event that was in San Jose, and that was like a big or maybe no, I think that Genesis 4 or 3. Both of those are really good tournaments, both in San Jose, I think. Banger tournaments, and it was just like really big. It was like not Evo, but it was still a huge like revived Smash series that came back. Awesome event, awesome city. Evo obviously is awesome when I go to that. Like Evo 2016, 2017 were hype. I think CEO has always been one of my favorite events. CEO, I want to say 2016, they had like a wrestling event too, or maybe that was the year after. I've always had fun at the CEO events because it's also like connected, like a hotel and the event in the same place, and they have like the pool and a resort area, and everyone kind of hangs out in the pools and just walking around, having drinks and whatnot and hanging out. Like CEO has the big they call it Jabali Land because the TO's name is Alex Jabali, and it's like a big arcade. They get all these different old games and arcade machines in there and DDR machines, and that's open 24/7. And they have the big fighting game events for all the big ones, and then like the top eights, there's like a wrestling ring, and they do like top 8 entrance themes and whatnot. CEO might be my favorite, man. Oh yes, I Jabali always puts on a great show, and I've been going to CEO events for a long time, and I'm a big fan of the Orlando ones. Daytona, I've had fun at Daytona, but I have more fun at the Orlando ones. So maybe CEO is probably my favorite series of events. It's hard to pick my absolute favorite though, because I've had so many awesome events and love them for so many different reasons.
What would be your top 8 walkout?
Top 8 walkout? So I've actually thought about that recently too, thankfully, and it's still something I wouldn't know until I actually like was there and like went through the bracket. I would have to go with like Kane's original theme is sick. The Four Horsemen theme from WCW is probably the best wrestling entrance theme. Other people would probably say Cult of Personality, and might pick that, but like Punk's using it right now, so I'm gonna let him use it. I'm also a big fan of Let It Go by A$AP Ferg and Right Now by Van Halen, which are two picks I'd probably go with, or Fame by David Bowie, or Walk by Pantera. I would only know right at the moment, like when I'm deciding is when I know which one to go with.
I think you're right. I've always thought about that. Anytime I go to like a baseball game and the players have a walkout song, I think, what would I put? What would I do?
Yeah, you got to think about it, man. Like that's motivation to get good. Like I think about like screw like being the best Smash player. I want to get good enough to have my top 8 walkout at CEO. That's what really matters. I don't care about a trophy. I don't care about a medal. I want to go to the ring and then go to the top rope and do the Randy Orton or something like that.
That's what my motivation is. I want to have a real studio and a real walkout song.
Yeah.
Right now, I just sit under the desk and play a song from the Fantastic Four game, the PlayStation 1. It's a good song, but like I need one that's my own.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that is so cool. A top 8 walkout. You think that events are gonna get way crazier once things finally open up again?
I hope so. I think events were already getting bigger and bigger and crazier with their production and scale before COVID, and after COVID, well, who knows if that's even going to be a thing. Hopefully, events really come back into full force like they used to be sometime soon. And to be honest, I think people are, as you can see, as crowds are returning in many places, like people have missed live events and being at games and being at live music and all that. So I think that natural just like wanting to be around people and going out and whatnot is always going to be there, is probably more palpable and stronger than ever, because people haven't been able to many people maybe chose to ignore that, but a lot of people didn't go out and do stuff for the past year and a half. So I know a lot of people are trying to get back into it as soon as possible, and events are still coming back here and there, and people are showing. I mean, like, stuff sells out, I feel like, immediately everywhere, because people just want to do something and go out, and so that's gonna always bring that demand for events, I think.
I want to talk about a game that might make a big appearance at any of the upcoming FGC events. I want to talk about Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. What are your thoughts on this title?
Yeah, so I guess you've seen me tweeting about that a lot.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, I did. I'm just a big Nicktoons fan, and not just nostalgic stuff from my childhood, but also it's a Smash game. So, I mean, right there, it has wave dashing and a rollback net code and Smash stuff with Nickelodeon characters. So I've just been hyped about it. It's just one of those things where I'm not trying to overthink it. It just looks like a fun game, a fun video game to play, and I'm looking forward to playing it.
Do you think it'll be featured at events?
Oh yeah, definitely. They're obviously Smash like commands the platform fighter biz, but you still have like Brawlhalla, you have Rivals of Aether, and even like Slap City, which was the developer Lodocity's previous game, which is like a similar kind of Smash platformy kind of fighter. That had kind of a scene a little bit. So yeah, I mean, people are when the game launches for sure, and like that like release window afterward, there's definitely going to be hype. Like people are going to have it at side events or as a side event for Smash tournaments. I'm sure it'll have its own tournaments. I'm sure I'll run a tournament for it, and there's going to be that hype there. I think just because it's not only Smash but the IP as well. How long that lasts, no idea. The novelty might wear off pretty quickly. I don't think I hope it doesn't. I don't think it'll, it's not going to be Melee or anything in terms of its longevity, but I think it'll have a pretty decent sized player base, especially with it being on all these different platforms. Developer looks like they're trying to make a good game, and I think if they're truly doing that and they succeed, that'll resonate with people and they'll stick around.
You think Nickelodeon's going to do a better job of supporting competition? Or yeah, the Nintendo.
I don't know. I mean, the bar's pretty low, so I mean, they wouldn't have to do much. I truly don't know how. Like, I've never really. They could be just as disconnected. You know, Viacom, Nickelodeon could be, you know, whatever about it. So, but who? I'm not entirely sure because I'm pretty new to like their like these developers and publisher relationship and playing their games. So, I honestly have no idea. But yeah, the bar's pretty low, so they wouldn't have to do too much to do better.
Well, I'm gonna ask you something that's just pure, just opinionated shit. Can you give me a tier list of who you think are gonna be like the top 5 characters in that game?
Okay. Probably all the turtles and the Avatar characters. That's
Okay,
it.
yeah, that's pretty easy. I can't.
I mean,
what the
like,
what the
it's
fuck
gonna
is
be like-
April O'Neil doing in that game? It doesn't make any sense to me.
you know, I'm not gonna just throw some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle slander out because I'm not like, not that I'm not a fan of it, but just not something I like grew up with or anything. It wasn't like my thing, so like I don't have the same nostalgia for it. But it looks cool, and I got cat dog, so I can't be mad because I'm a big cat dog fan.
Okay.
And I want Angry Beavers. You can see I'm wearing my Angry Beavers shirt, and I want Angry Beavers and Rocket Power. Angry Beavers, Rocket Power, and then Jimmy and Timmy, and I'm good. That's what I want.
Wait, are they in the game? I didn't even.
Who?
Jimmy and Timmy.
No, Jimmy Neutron, Timmy Turner, not in the game as far as we know so far.
Wait,
They might be, but we don't know.
what? I mean, I guess there's no way they released the entire roster, right? Like the game's still.
No, the
still a little
entire
while out.
roster is not. Yeah, we haven't had it all revealed, so maybe they haven't been revealed yet. I hope.
Okay, well, Cat Dog Main. Okay, I'm thinking
Cat
either
Dog.
Danny Phantom or Invader Zim. I just got to see how they play. You know, I'll feel it out. Feel it out.
I have to imagine that the turtles are going to be dumb and busted, and Aang and Korra are definitely going to be strong. And there's your top 5 right there. There's 2 turtles, 2 of them, and then I mean April's probably going to be good, and if Zuko's in the game, he'll probably be good too. So
Oh
there's your
shit! If
top
Zuko's in the
characters.
game, I'm a Zuko main. 100%.
Yeah, I would play Zuko as well. Zuko would be super hype.
Okay, so let's talk about another game that's been having a little bit of hype recently in the whole, I'd say, Gamescom release, and something you've been talking about a little bit recently. It's Metroid Dread. So what do you think on the opinion that Metroid Dread isn't a $60 game? It's a $30 game and shouldn't be charged full price because it's not
Oh yeah,
a full game.
I mean, well, wait. So are you saying it should be $30?
I'm saying there are people who don't think it's a full
Okay.
game. Well, what are your
mean,
thoughts on that?
I guess that's like, what is your opinion on a full game? I mean, it's gonna be a full game. It's gonna have a full campaign. It's gonna be a full adventure. Look, I'm a huge Metroid fan. I've been waiting for Metroid Dread since Metroid Fusion came out in 2002. I'm waiting 19 years for this game. The game looks great. Story looks awesome. I think it's gonna be a really fun game that's gonna give a lot of hours of playtime and replayability. I'm a huge Metroid fan. Yeah, I think it's 100% a $60 game. Maybe all Nintendo games should be $50 like they used to be. Who knows? And that's maybe a different discussion. But like, I don't think it's not a full price game or anything, or not a full game or anything like that. It's clearly not like just a small indie game. There's a lot going on. It's a big franchise. I think it looks awesome, especially the cutscenes are really good. And I think even in motion, the gameplay looks sick. I think they made some really good improvements on the Metroid formula. And the story's going to be really awesome. It's a payoff to literally a 19-year situation. So we've been waiting for a sequel to Fusion since 2002. So I 100% think it's a full price game. It should be a full price game. I think it is a full game. I already paid the $60 many times over, so I'm on that side.
Wait, what do you mean you paid the $60 many times over?
Well, I think I bought 2 or 3 regular editions of the game, and then I also bought 2 or 3 special editions of the game as well. So
Why'd you do that?
Why not? I could. I want the game. So I bought multiple special editions. I'm going to open one. I'm going to not open one. And I'm going to give away one. And then I had a regular edition to play and another edition maybe to have and another edition to get. I don't know. I'll do whatever I want with it. You know, I'm trying to make sure that they make more Metroid games. So I put my money in. I bought multiple copies. I'm trying to be part of those numbers.
What's the difference between the special edition and the regular edition?
So the special edition of Metroid Dread has like an 80 or maybe like more, maybe 80 or 100 or more page art book and like a steel case and whatnot, I think, and some other extra goodies and all that. And I wanted it. And it was special.
Okay, I mean, you know what? That's good enough. That's good enough for me. You care
Honestly,
about the series.
I forgot what it all has. But I'll have to. I know it has that stuff, but it was cool enough for me to buy multiple times. That's for sure.
Okay, well, man, if I make something and one person buys a minimum of 4 copies of it, then I know I've done something really good.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to Metroid Prime 4 as well. But Metroid Dread, it's like the holy grail of Metroid games. It's like a game that was a myth for a decade or more, and I never thought it would actually come out. Hell yeah, I'm spending money on that. You kidding me? Easy.
What do you mean it was a myth?
So there's a whole history of Metroid Dread's development. So Metroid Dread was originally so Metroid Fusion, for those who don't know, Metroid Fusion is chronologically in the story the last Metroid game in the story. So far, Metroid Dread's a sequel. Nothing else has happened since then. That game came out in 2002. Then they had other Metroid games that were prequels and interquels and other games that weren't sequels to Fusion. 2005, Metroid Dread was like kind of revealed and like journal like articles, like, you know, it was reported but not officially shown off at E3 2005. It was in development got canceled, and then around 2009 2010 development restarted again. It showed up, you know, there were rumors, it was referenced in Metroid Prime 3, and there were, like, you know, articles come out, is this game ever going to come out, it's not going to come out. It didn't show up at E3 2006 or 2007 or 2008. And then apparently development started up again in 2009, 2010. It was shown off to Nintendo of America in secret. The development didn't go well. It was scrapped a second time. And then finally, a third time, Mercury Steam, who developed some other games and Castlevania games, they signed on to do Samus Returns, which was the remake of Metroid 2 Return of Samus for the Game Boy, which I believe was 1991 or 1992. They did Samus Returns for 2017, and after doing that, they signed on to do the third attempt at Metroid Dread, which finally came to fruition and is actually coming out. So it's been a long time coming. It was in development, not in development. It was a rumor. It was referenced. It was an inside joke. It was articles would come out saying, is this coming out or not? Interviews would happen, and developers would be like, we don't know, or it's not happening, or blah, blah. It was legitimately like a myth. It was like vaporware, something, you know, it was like Duke Nukem Forever before it you know, that finally came out. But actually, this one will hopefully be good.
I mean, you seem to be pretty enthusiastic about it. I hope it's really good too.
Yeah.
Well,
it should be good. It looks good.
Well, when's it coming out?
It's coming out October 5th or 10th. I think 5th is the Nick All-Stars release, and maybe, or is it the 8th or something like that? It's October. I should know. Metroid Dread release. Let's look. Metroid Dread comes out for the Switch on October 8th. Boom. I called it. Third time.
Easy. I want to talk about one more game that you're definitely excited about. It's Halo Infinite. What are you thinking about the recent, I guess, reveals for Halo Infinite Gamescom? I'm a little underwhelmed by it. There isn't much we've learned. There's going to be some cool consoles, cool custom edition controllers, but I feel like I still want more.
Yeah, they really haven't shown off a lot for Infinite. It's like pretty close. It's coming out in 4 months. I guess they'll show off some more in the coming months. Yeah, the Gamescom thing was kind of weird because they showed off a cutscene that was supposed to be a multiplayer cutscene, but it really wasn't. It was just kind of related to like the small lore coming with this first season. I don't know. Yeah, I thought it was kind of underwhelming. I did play in the technical beta and been following along with the development of the game. Uh, I have reservations about 343. I have played the previous games. I have reservations about this game, and I'm not very happy that co-op and Forge are not coming out at launch. But I had some fun with the technical beta. I thought it was really, I kept grinding games out. I had a good time. Did it blow me away? No. But it was fun Halo, and that's what I'm looking forward to. I just want a fun Halo game, so I'm hoping that's what we get, and I'm hoping to play that when it comes out. So I'm gonna try to play the game. I'd love to compete in it. I'd love to commentate it. I still love Halo, and so I'm trying to keep a healthy, positive mindset here coming in towards the launch. But there are definitely some things that are a bit concerning. At the end of the day, though, it still looks like fun, and I'm hoping it will be.
And it's gonna be on Game Pass too. So if you got Game Pass, that's no problem.
That's true, but more importantly, the multiplayer is gonna be free. And so I won't even have to pay for just playing the multiplayer on PC until all the other stuff is worked out.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal with no co-op campaign or Forge is. I don't know how they came to that decision.
I mean, look, I will play the campaign solo and probably enjoy it, I hope. But I love running co-op campaign. That's a big part of Halo enjoyment for me. And I've loved Forge since Halo 3. I think some people are kind of underestimating the lack of Forge because everyone's, oh, not everyone plays or does Forge or whatever. But like a lot of people play custom games, and if you don't play custom games, there's still a lot of people. I feel like everyone who's played Halo has at least played a custom game once, and a lot of people play them a lot, and that's a big part of the Halo experience. But more importantly, there won't be custom maps, or custom game types. So like you might not be able to play on a custom map in a regular game type. There won't be like cool, there won't be Griffball, be rocket race, stuff like that. So I don't know. It kind of adds up. It is disappointing, but like I said, I'm trying to see the positives. It's a video game at the end of the day. It's not the end of the world. I've got Destiny, so if it doesn't work out, I'll just go back to that. So whatever. I'm hoping that it'll be fun, but yeah, that was a bit of a letdown.
And back to good old Bungie, and I want to ask a similar situation happened, I think, with the Gears of War franchise, and you played it a lot. I think you could attest to it as well. Do you think that the developers that originally made the series and then left, leaving only a sliver of what used to be to create the next series of the games, it doesn't work out? For example, Bungie leaving 343 to do the rest, Epic leaving the Coalition to continue the Gears of War franchise.
Well, I think those are like just pretty specific Microsoft examples, like they had their original creators for the franchises. The original creators left because they had, done their part on what they had done and they wanted to move on, which is, I think, most creators want to do that, They don't want to be working on the same thing. No matter how much they love it, they don't want to be doing the same thing forever, and I totally understand that. And then to fill that void, Microsoft created their own studios to fill that void. And I think in doing so, didn't necessarily. I mean, look, I'm no game developer, so I won't go that far. But it wasn't like they just took another already established developer and handed it off to them, which I think can work if you take the original creator and move it to someone else. If you already have an established developer, I don't think that's necessarily a bad idea. It's when you bring it to a developer that's not established, like 3/4, or have the experience as a group, as a team, as an organization, and have proven themselves, which the 343 and Coalition really hadn't. How could they? Because they were created for that purpose. So I think it can work, but there's so many moving pieces. It's obviously easier said than done, and I'm in no position to rain judgment down on these people or companies or whatever, because who am I? But yeah, I don't think it does. I don't think fundamentally it's something that can't work. It's just in those situations they didn't approach it the right way.
Well, I mean, what are you saying, Dak? Of course we could pass judgment. We're the consumers.
I try not to overthink things like that these days. Like with Halo Infinite, I think maybe 10 years ago I would be spending all my time tweeting and on forums complaining about the things I don't like and all that. And I have so many other things to enjoy. I have so many other things that can bring me happiness and whatnot. I love Halo, but if Halo Infinite sucks, it sucks. There are billions of other games I can go out and play and whatever. I'll go get another hobby or something like that. Like I'm trying not to sweat the small things in life. So then again, I understand where they're coming from, because they wanted to create like their own studio built for that franchise. And I think it is important to have a dedicated developer for a franchise. It helps with creating consistent content, and it helps with support for the game after launch, especially for like competitive games. Like in our field, you have a dedicated publisher and a dedicated developer. You can do a lot of good stuff in the esports space. If those things are constantly changing, you're not going to see the same kind of work in the competitive side of things. So I can see how that, in a grand scale, why they'd want to have a dedicated Halo studio, a dedicated Gears studio, dedicated this, dedicated that. So I could, it just unfortunately has worked out the way it has so far. But I'm always willing to give things another shot.
Yeah, we can be optimistic about it. There's still roughly 4 months till launch, and I think, like you said, at the end of the day, if it's not bad, oh well, like whatever. Mm-hmm. We'll just move on. Free multiplayer campaign, Game Pass. It's free anyway.
I'll still cast it if they'll have me.
Oh.
I'll still cast it.
Oh, absolutely. Halo. Well, you gotta. You're still putting on the tournament, right?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Definitely trying to make it happen.
All right. Well, speaking of casting, I have a small challenge for you. It's something that you told me every caster needs to be able to do, and it's something that you've learned how to do very well, and it's stalling. Something's wrong with the production, and I gotta go take a piss for 2 minutes. Dak, can you stall the studio while I run to the bathroom?
Oh, I can easily do that because I'm looking at it. So yeah, you can go to the bathroom, bro. I'm already in it. So this guy here, Noodler J, do you think Lesnar's taking the title back, or is he just here to put Reigns over more? That's a good one, because ultimately it is 100% to put Reigns over, but I think this could be a final babyface run for Lesnar. I could see him retiring after this. The he's putting a lot of work. He doesn't want to travel. He's only doing 8 shows this coming year for 2022, or maybe 2021, 2022. I think that's his current contract. He's definitely a babyface because he's against Roman, who's a heel, and he's going to get cheered because he's been gone for a while, So absence kind of makes the heart grow fonder. Everyone's going to cheer the guy, even though we've seen Lesnar and Roman Reigns 6 times already. I think I can see Lesnar. I could actually see Lesnar going over Reigns and then dropping the title to someone else, or keeping it and then Reigns going back over, getting the title again, and ultimately coming out on top. So that's how I could see it going, but I can see them putting the title on Brock again. They might give him the other title instead. Always weird hearing Lesnar get cheered. I agree. I think at the end of the day, like I said, they haven't seen him for a while, and when Lesnar at the end of when he's loving it and you're seeing him go to Suplex City, I think it's great. It's just we've seen Roman so many times. I think that was the weirdest part, is that people were hyped to see another Lesnar Roman Reigns program, where everyone hated that 4 or 5 years ago, but I guess just because it's been a long time. Roman's a different guy, different character, and Lesnar's going to be a baby face. He's got the beard, he's got the ponytail and whatnot, so we got a new Brock Lesnar. I think it'll work, so I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. You get back quicker than
amazing!
I thought I was going to get to more than that, but that was the entire time.
Yeah, I actually did go to the bathroom. I wasn't planning on it. I was planning on just turning off my... Where the hell is my camera at? I think that's what it was. I couldn't find my camera on the screen or on OBS, and I was like, fuck it, I'll just actually go to the bathroom. But you did fantastic, DakCity. Well done. And before we send off this show, where can the people at home find you?
Oh, absolutely, my man. Thanks again for having me on and giving me the chance to plug myself a little bit here. Y'all can find me on Twitch and Twitter at right there, DakCity _ and boom, okay, you got to me. Yeah, Twitter, Twitch, DakCity _. That's where you can find me. that's pretty much how people could find me, DakCity, and that I stream, I tweet, I commentate, and all that. So those are the two places you'll find me.
All right, folks, there you have it. DakCity, thank you so much for coming here to the stream. Now,